I know you guys are drooling to know how to render skin in less time and more efficiently. In skin, you generally get base color, shadows, blush, highlights and details. Don't worry, I'm gonna share my rendering process, that how I render my drawings. Look, I'm not gonna make things complicated. I'll be sharing some simple steps which will be beneficial to you like beginners and intermediate. Okay, before proceeding, I generally break into 5 simple steps: base color, shadows, blush, highlights and details. And the first point is base color. Skin is the most complex thing to render because you get different varieties of colors on the skin. There are warm and cool colors always present on the face, and at the same time you get different colors because the ambient light and the highlights and different variants of shadows. That's why a lot of beginners confuses where to start, which color to choose. That's why in the most of cases, majority of beginners and other artists confuses. First of all, I take a neutral color, neither too much saturated nor too much neutral, just somewhere middle of the color palette, and it depends upon different scenarios. It differs based on different environments. That's why you have to choose the base color wisely, because the base color carries the entire essence of your artwork. It can make or break your artwork, so be careful while choosing the base color. I like to paint like big to small. Don't worry about details for now, only focus on the flat colors and gradually it will turn good. Keep patience and trust the process. If you took a color that is not appropriate, you can also use the hue and saturation bar to adjust the saturation and hue according to your choice. It's completely okay to use the hue and saturation bar. Anyway, first of all, fill the selected area with the base color and always use a reference as I'm using here. The reference is the most important thing. After putting the base color, now I can find the shadows in which part of the face it appears, and then I put the shadow color respectively. And remember, shadows appear according to the direction of the light source. If the light is hitting from the left, the shadow will appear in the opposite direction of the light source, and it is applicable for the rest of all the directions. I basically take a dark color by shifting the hue bar to get the shadows color, and you can also use a multiply layer to apply shadows. It's upon you. You can use any techniques as you want, and after applying the shadows, try to find the deeper shadows to bring more depth in your rendering process. Shadows can be warmer and cooler in terms of different environments. If the object is in the darker place, the shadow will appear in the cool color range, and if the object is in the brighter area, like the sun rays are hitting straight to the face, and shadows will appear a bit more warmer and more saturated. Keep this important point in your mind while applying the shadows. And moving on to the next step, that is blush. The blush basically appears in the middle section of the face because the middle section of the face is more warmer than the other areas of the face. That's why it looks more reddish in color. And you can apply with the airbrush for the softer look. Don't overdo it, just make gentle touch, that will be okay. And moving on to the highlights, I'm gonna put 2 layers as I did with the shadow part. First of all, pick a brighter color as compared to the base color and put in the areas to define the direction of the light source. After applying, do some smudging in the areas which needed to be smooth, and after doing that, pick a color which is more brighter and which could be used for the details, and applying bounce light to add more life to the paintings. And don't forget to add ambient light, which is basically called as the environmental light, falling on the skin is necessary if the object is in the open background or in daylight. Don't need to use it if the object is in the dark places and in night. You can use rim lights instead of the ambient light. Rim light separates the object from the background. And I like to use subsurface scattering to describe the object more vibrant and colorful. And lastly, moving on to the details, this is where I add those final touches that brings your artwork more authentic. Focus on adding fine lines, textures and subtle variations in color that make the skin look more realistic and dimensional. Remember that those details enhance the overall rendering process without overpowering the natural look of the skin. Less is often more when it comes to the final touches. Okay guys, that's it. Hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you like this video. And for now, bye bye.